coming up a little later on, we've got more Kart Shack. We're also going to be joined by Chris Milbourne, social media and content manager at dubizzle, who will tell us about some of the car trends that he's seen and the weird and wonderful cars that he's seen on dubizzle. This is Motor Mania. More after this.
From P7 Arena, Media One Hotel.
This is Motor Mania on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Live at Offset, a custom car show that comes with a side of street culture influence.
Chris Milbourne, thank you very much for joining us. Social media content manager at dubizzle, and you're now part of the Motor Mania team. Fantastic stuff. Now, I've been asked to introduce you as Chris, who's under 35 and drives a Volvo.
I knew this was coming.
That's a great intro.
I've loved the cars since day one. You know, when I first saw the 850 on track back in the mid 90s, I was like, I have to have that car. Okay, I still haven't got that all important 850, but I love my Volvos, and I will defend it up and down. I just love the cars.
Nothing wrong with a Volvo.
We have something in common because I was also under 35 and I owned a Volvo wagon as well.
So
there you go.
There you
I had a 265 GLE with velour trim.
Should you admit that on the radio?
I'll tell you why I did it. Because it was the only car that can carry a go-kart without taking the wheels off. Slide it in the back, shut the door.
That's a good reason.
I didn't need a trailer.
I wish I had that excuse, but I don't. I just like the shape of them. That's it.
So we're down here at Offset. Some amazing custom cars. Is this the sort of thing that you're into? Substanced cars, JDM, Japanese domestic market, that sort of thing?
Well, yes and no. The American cars that are pulled in here already are my thing. I really like American classics, and there's some beautiful ones here, especially upstairs. And one of them actually caught my eye is the 300. There's a Nardo grey, that kind of cement colour that's here. It's actually listed for sale on dubizzle.
Oh, really?
For 110,000. Yeah, I found it this morning because I had my eye on it. I've always liked the 300s. I've always wanted to get my hands on either 5.7 or 6.2, the SRT8s. And that one kept popping up, and I'm thinking, should I bite? Should I bite and get that car? But for me, it's too low to the ground. I would literally wince every time just how close it would be, just scraping along. When you guys told me to come down this morning, I didn't know we were actually going to be in the parking lot. I thought we'd be downstairs somewhere. And seeing these cars that are this low to the ground, it's just...
Yeah, it's crazy.
How did they get up here?
Breathe the fumes in. Breathe the fumes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, there's amazing. A Lamborghini Huracan went past a little earlier on, sitting millimetres off the ground. A beautiful old
Lincoln
Continental.
You couldn't slide playing cards under the front splitter of these cars.
Yeah.
No, not at all. But I love the way that they've done it down here. It's not rammed full of cars. They've spaced them out.
Curated, I think, is the word you're looking for. Really tasteful selection of cars. A really interesting variety. So it's not 50 Nissan GTRs. It is a lot. There's a bunch of great GTRs, but there's also a lot of variety, whether it's European, American, or whatever you like.
And that's why they made it invite only, because they can space it out. Plenty of room for your Instagram shots, and it's not just wall-to-wall cars and cars, side by side. But Chris, let's talk about some of these weird and wonderful things you've seen on dubizzle. One of the things that took my mind earlier this week I saw was a 1922 Buick pickup truck. Now, even I don't have to be a brainiac mathematician to know that that's 101 years old.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. There are a few of these that turn up for sale quite often, to be honest. And I look on dubizzle on a daily basis for what cars are listed, because I really enjoy rarer cars, things that are a bit more unique, things that you don't really tend to see too much on the road. So I always type in the search filter rare, and then I always get some really bizarre creations that easily pop up. We found one recently. This is more of a newer car, actually. It's the new Land Cruiser, the J300.
Yep.
The person who's selling it, and apparently it's not the only one here as well, there are a few of them actually listed on the platform, they are modified to have, the exterior is completely normal. So you look at the car from the outside, plain. You just think it's a standard Toyota Land Cruiser. You go inside the car and it's a VIP edition. So the front is fine. It's got one of my seats.
Blue. Interesting.
Yeah,
right.
Very weird combination, black on blue. But then you go into the back, and then you have the third row, removed from the back of the car. The second row has been pushed back, and you have a 65-inch TV and a wall that's between you and the front
65-inch TV.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a mobile bedroom.
Essentially, you've got two chairs that basically lean all the way back, and you've got PS5 in there, coffee machine, basically everything you can imagine.
I remember when that was launched at one of the Dubai Motor shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you have to pay rent on that, don't you?
Yeah, surely go to RERA and see if they can put a land tag on it. It'd be brilliant.
We also had we found this in Ajman, actually, of all places. It was a short track racer.
Yes.
They listed it as a NASCAR. I spoke to the owner about it. I said it's not exactly what it is, but it looks like a short track racer. And we started this thing up. It was the 5.0 V8, completely unrestricted.
This is not one of the cars that used to run in the speed car series from Dubai years ago.
No, it wasn't.
No.
This one is a bit lower than that, but it was very, very accurate. And when we started this thing up, it was extremely loud to the point that other dealers around us wanted to see if they had cars louder. So they would start cranking the engines, and you hear the Lambos and everything like fire up, but then you had this thing that's a boom, like you would hear it outside of the market. It was that loud.
Probably rival your RX-7, no?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I should have brought that
Your
today,
race
shouldn't
car.
I? Yeah.
I mean, you find the most amazing things, don't you, on dubizzle? I mean, it's a go-to place now for, well, not now, but has always been the go-to place to buy and sell and trade, cars. And so you get people who post their everyday cars, but then you find some amazing things in there. And, there's a 35 million dirham Lamborghini there on dubizzle, the Veneno.
Yeah.
Where else do you find? I mean, if you're talking Europe or the United States or other places, these are like, off the book kind of auctions or, quiet chats in car club talk and that sort of thing. Here it is on dubizzle.
Yep, and it was there. And oddly enough, I checked this morning, it's actually already sold.
Oh, it is?
So it's gone already. So
Fantastic.
now the most expensive car is a 17 million dirham Koenigsegg. It's either an Agera or a Regera. I can't remember 100%, but it's finished in a beautiful like purple, and it's for sale from one of the dealers in Alawiyah that you
Right.
can get it from. But as you said, you don't tend to see these things pop up for sale very often, but they all seem to pop up on dubizzle at some point. And well, a lot of them usually get shipped overseas, but a lot of them actually stay within the country. And as you said, it's phenomenal to see these things get listed at these prices. And to be honest, I'm actually amazed at the speed this car actually got sold at, because it was listed about a week or so ago, and it's gone. It's already been sold. It's 37 million dirhams of a car that's been sold in a week.
Do you, out of interest, do you get a lot of, I don't know if you can see that, I assume you can probably see this, do you get a lot of traffic from overseas on dubizzle looking at the vehicles that are there and people, so are people car enthusiasts from overseas checking dubizzle?
Yes.
Right.
So, I mean, I've been in the market for a long time, and I've walked around the market various times, be it Alawiyah, be it Dukams, be it Sharjah, and you usually tend to come across people that are walking around that would be looking for a showroom or they're looking for a certain particular car, and you'll see that they're on their phone and they'll actually be on dubizzle, and they're not from here. They've flown in from Africa, Europe, even the United States, Asia as well, and they're looking to buy cars through the platform. They're actually, some of them are flying out here to use the platform.
Perfect. Yeah, do you find, like, I know we scan them all, but there are European-based sites that get a lot of interest from overseas, American-based sites as well, that people constantly bidding for. Is that the kind of audience you're also getting from people who are overseas? Because I don't, like, it's not a bidding site, it's not an auction site, it's a classified kind of thing, but that still attracts a lot of overseas interest.
Well, I think from the B2C side, so we're talking about the independent dealers that are listing and then the private individuals, working with the social media team, we get a lot of queries from overseas from users asking, how can I contact so-and-so, I'd like to buy this car, here's the link, how do I get in touch with them? And we get inquiries, as I said before, from a few places around the world. Now, obviously, we have the system in place that you need to have a UE phone number to basically contact the sellers, but people always find a way around. They'll ask us on social media, hey, can you contact this guy for us, and so forth. But it seems to be that even though the website is based here, and it is for the local market, there is a lot of users that are looking at it outside of the country and looking to buy cars from a reputable source, because they hear about it from other people, or they hear about it from people that have traveled, saying, my friend told me about dubizzle while he was there. Is it possible that I can create an account? Can I, list my cars for sale? Can I buy a car from you guys? Can I buy a car from someone else? Can you help me with the export services? Stuff like this.
Perfect.
And you're finding interest from the dealer and the private side as well?
I would say so, yes.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. I mean, we've all bought and sold cars from dubizzle.
Too many.
Too many.
I'm so glad I don't have your job. I just live on there all day buying things.
I'm actually the opposite. I've only ever bought a car on dubizzle. I've never sold a car. See, I've only owned about 4 cars in my lifetime. and I've basically run them all into the ground. And I'm like, you know what, there's not worth selling them because I'm not going to get any money back from it. But
I've got my frequent flyer number with the dubizzle, don't you worry. I'll tell you what, Chris Melbourne, you're from dubizzle, you're joining us for the rest of the program in the Shannon Knoll, of course, here with Motor Mania. We're live down here from the Media One Hotel for the Offset Car Festival, and please come on down, bring your family, bring your friends. It's all about to kick off. We'll be back with more Motor Mania straight after this on Dubai Eye 103.8.
From P7 Arena, Media One Hotel.
This is Motor Mania on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Live at Offset, a custom car show that comes with a side of street culture influence.
Welcome back, I'm Damien Reid and this is Motor Mania. We are broadcasting live from the Media One Hotel where the Offset Custom Car Festival is taking place very soon. And I'm joined, of course, by Imta Shanjado and Noel Ebden, but I'm also joined by Chris Milbourne, social media and content manager at dubizzle. And Chris, I've got to ask you, Ramadan is just around the corner. It's getting earlier every year, and I can't believe we're already thinking about Ramadan now. Have you seen any movement on dubizzle in terms of Ramadan deals?
You know, it's funny you say that because we were looking at it yesterday as well, and it seems to be independent dealers are already starting their Ramadan deals. And what are we, 3 weeks early already?
Yes.
For the holy month?
Yeah.
And there are already a couple of dealers that have already posted their deals. Okay, they range, the variety ranges of what they're offering. It could be anywhere between additional benefits when you buy the car for after sales stuff like insurance, registration. Some are giving cash back, some are giving discounts on cars. I mean, we're looking at data from previous years where we've seen this over the past couple of years even be it independent dealers or OEMs as well. It seems to be it's the perfect time to buy the car because you get so many incentives, you know. And you get some fantastic deals, to be honest.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we talk to the manufacturers about Ramadan deals. Obviously, we've had a couple of tough years. The industry has, and so they've not necessarily been cash bonuses. In effect, they've been value added. You buy the base model car, and they'll give you the up spec model. That sort of thing, rather than saying you're going to get 20,000 dirhams off or 10,000 dirhams off. Is that the sort of thing you're seeing that they're starting to filter through, or is there's still cash discounts out there?
Again, it kind of varies between dealer to dealer, right? The OEMs obviously have the opportunity to up-spec the vehicle. So if you're going, like you said, for a base model, they can up-spec you into the mid-tier one, or if you're getting a mid-option, you can go up for the full option one. Whereas more with the independent side of things, as I said, it's sort of the after-sales kind of things, insurance, registration, even gifts. Sometimes you see them being given out when you buy a car from them, be it a phone or a laptop or something like this. It's interesting what they use as, I want to say the word tactic, to get more people coming in, because it appears that during Ramadan, a lot of cars get sold. You know, even recently, I've got a couple of people that I know that are looking to buy cars, and they say, wait for Ramadan, because it seems to be that Ramadan is the time to get the best deal on any car, even if it's a pre-owned one or if it's a new one. It's going to be a deal. Yeah.
Imta Shan, have you taken advantage of Ramadan deals over the time, and in terms of buying and or selling?
I have bought a car during Ramadan, but it was a private seller, so it wasn't a particular deal. But I am looking for the classic after-sales deal, which is tinting. I want free tinting. That was always the thing that got me over the line. I get free tinting. Free insurance is actually quite a good thing to have, because if you look at it, that is a huge cost of a new car purchase. So I think insurance is a big thing to look forward to. But I don't know. I think it's much of a muchness. I've got my best deals after Ramadan. A lot of time. So a lot of people have this mentality that they have to buy during Ramadan, and dealers will cater to it. But if you're a private seller all year round, you're going to find good deals on sites like dubizzle. Yeah,
and one of the other news items that kicked off during the week, the old thing, fuel prices again. They've gone up. Fuel prices have gone up.
Sell
this
everything.
Week again.
No, wait, it's only 3 fills.
Exactly. But people do take a knee-jerk reaction to this. And Chris, I mean, that falls into the play with the EV market. How have you seen? Does that really make an impact when you see petrol prices moving by a couple of fuel or whatever else, that suddenly you get a spike in EV sales?
So for one car in particular last year, there was, or better yet, one manufacturer even, there was a surge, excuse the pun there, for the electric car, which was the ID series, the ID4 most specifically. We saw a lot of them enter the market, and with our market report, we found out that it was the best-selling Volkswagen.
It's remarkable, because it's not sold by Volkswagen. That's the most remarkable thing.
So you have things like the Passat, the CC, the Golf. Okay, the CC isn't in production any longer, but the Golf is, the Passat is, and the Jetta. But people were buying the ID4 more than anything else. And we did notice, especially during the summertime when it started to get quite high, And obviously with the government's incentives, when you buy an electric car, that obviously helped people to make a decision when it comes to buying electric vehicles. And we actually had a number of them for sale through the dubizzle Cars Hub. We had a lot of Teslas come in. We also offer things like green loans as well to make it easy to buy pre-owned luxury electric vehicle and a standard electric car as well. So we did notice an increase in demand for electric vehicles, and also obviously cars with smaller engines, ones with 2 litres compared to 5.6s, or even the 6-cylinders weren't, say, as popular compared to some of the 4-bangers.
Yeah, it's remarkable, isn't it? I mean, the ID story is one of those anomalies that we probably only find in this region, that people, they're being privately imported. They're all grey imports, but people don't care so much because they're buying them anyway. Volkswagen hasn't completed their hot weather testing and a million other things that they talk about, that they've got to go through the due diligence to put the car in the showroom. But they're just all over the place.
And I gather Volkswagen's not best pleased about this as well, because they've said on multiple occasions that these are not cars that are supported by Volkswagen or the local dealer or the Buddha.
I really feel for them in a way, because they're, as you say, Chris, the top-selling car is a car that they're not getting any revenue out of.
But on the other side, it's also a message for the likes of VW that the car is selling because at a price that people are simply willing to pay. So obviously, when it comes into the market, it will come at a higher price than the grey imports. So what happens to grey imports when we have a direct local I think the grey imports will disappear. That's inevitably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I just came back from Armenia, and Armenia is not a rich country, and there were ID photos everywhere. I saw so many of them. So
is there an incentive perhaps from the government?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, it is selling everywhere globally like crazy. And I said this. How many times did we have this conversation? The Tesla did well whilst no one else was in the market.
Yeah.
And as soon as the big boys get involved, the game changes. Yeah. And Volkswagen are here. They're in that market now, and everyone's buying the cars.
I mean, they're a massive manufacturer, of course. So they've got the technology. They're going to bring it in. You see the trickle down effect too with the Porsche Taycan, part of the VW group, the Audi e-tron series, part of the VW group. Bentley is coming in with their full EV, so they've got the technology, but we're just not seeing it out there at the moment with Volkswagen for local reasons to get the car out there.
But that's for our benefit, because ultimately they're going to improve the cars based on local feedback.
Yeah, and that's it. And speaking of Volkswagen, Noel, in terms of cars we've got now, you're actually in one right now.
I am, yeah. So I've had the GTI and the R back to back. So the GTI I'm now done with. I swapped it day before yesterday for the R, and I'm going to talk about that on the next show.
Fantastic. Yeah. What do you got lined up in the Shan?
I've got a bunch of interesting cars that we've all driven before. I'm doing the Bronco and I'm doing the Grand Cherokee, mainly because I want to catch up with them. The Bronco I've driven in the desert quite a bit, so I have very good feedback on that to give you. But I will talk about what it's like to live with it every day. Grand Cherokee I haven't driven at all, so I'm quite curious to see how the all-new platform does for them.
Yeah, fantastic.
Well, I'm the other way around, because I've driven the Grand Cherokee a lot, and
I wonder why.
Yes, and I still haven't. I still haven't driven the Bronco.
Well, you know how to call, but actually,
I know who to call. Yes.
I also have already booked or /blagged the new Ranger Raptor, so I will tell you what it's all about.
Well, there you go.
We have to fight over these things.
Yes, I'm currently in the new Range Rover.
I saw, very
which
jealous.
Which is a lovely car. It's been a long time coming. A huge waiting list for that car, but finally got my hands on it. Partly because in the next issue of Motor Mania, we're going to be sitting with Jaguar Land Rover boss Bruce Robertson, who's going to join us in the studio. So looking forward to catching up with Bruce. It's been a long time coming to get him on the show, and so looking forward to that. But in the meantime, we're going to have a look around here and see what's around. Chris, what takes your fancy out there with what we've got now here at Offset?
Well, there's no Volvo, so I'm going straight home.
There's a car as big as the Volvo. That's the Lincoln Continental upstairs.
Yeah, okay, you got me there.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic work. The guys from Car Culture have done an amazing job with Offset down here. I'm going to have a look at the BMW E30. There's an R34 Nissan Skyline, or R35, I think, GTR over there as well. It looks pretty sensational stuff. Noel Ebden, what are your thoughts?
I'll take all of them. I'm going to have a wander. Going to go walk up through all the floors. I've only done a little bit of the show, so going to have a good wander and see what takes my fancy.
I'm all about the classic Nissans and Toyotas. I just want to give a big shout out again to Dan, Sid, and the rest of the guys who I can't possibly name them all. It is hard to put a show like this, and they put their time into it. So come down and check it out. It's beautifully curated. It's an incredible venue, and I'm glad meat culture is very much alive in the Middle East.
Yeah, Dan's done a great job. We had him in the studio last time talking about it. It's now a reality. It's down here. So, amazing stuff. So, do come down, folks. This is the offset car show happening down here at Dubai 1, level 5 we're currently at. It kicks off. The show kicks off from 12 and it will carry on all afternoon. But that's just about it from me, Damien Reid. Thank you, Chris, for joining us, and we're going to look forward to more great insights from dubizzle over the course of the year. Really looking forward to that. You guys are on the pulse. If we've got all the facts and figures, you're the go-to guys. Looking forward to that. Shannon Noel, thanks again for joining us. Naz Chowdhury, who was in earlier. And we'll be back live in the studio in a couple of weeks' time, where I said we're going to be joined by Jaguar Land Rover boss Bruce Robertson. We're going to talk about all things at luxury in that regard. And again, thanks again for the host for joining us here at the Offset Custom Car Festival at the Media One Hotel. This is Motor Mania on Dubai 103.8.